Good morning, guys. So I am starting my morning with my usual coffee like I always do, and then for breakfast for my husband and I'm making kind of like a scramble type thing. This isn't really like a recipe, it's just basically scrambled eggs with some things added into it. So I'm starting by chopping up some onions. And then I'm also going to be adding in the protein, which is called pork roll. It's this right here. I don't know if many of y'all have heard of it. Most people that aren't from New Jersey or Pennsylvania have never heard of it, but it's kind of like as if bacon and ham had a baby. Like, that's how I describe it. It is so freaking good. It's our favorite thing. It's kind of hard to get now that we live in the South, but it is so good. So I'm just going to saute up the onions with the pork roll, just get them cooked through. Of course, it's super important to just season every layer when you're cooking. So I added a little salt to the onions and pork roll, sauteed that up. And then I'm also making some toast to go with it. This is actually bread that my husband makes. He makes a few different kinds of bread. We pretty much don't ever buy bread because he makes all the bread. He's so good at making bread. So I'm toasting up a little bit of that. I just wanted to show y'all his loaves of bread because they're so beautiful and so good. And then since this is for both of us, I'm making 5 eggs, just throwing that right into the meat and onions. And this is how I make my scrambled eggs. I know everyone makes them a little differently. Some people like whisk them up in advance, but I just crack my eggs right in there and kind of like whisk it in with the other ingredients. And like I said, seasoning every layer, so adding a little bit more salt to the eggs. My husband thinks that like my eggs, or my scrambled eggs in particular, are like special. Like whenever he tries to make scrambled eggs, they never come out the same as mine, and I think he tries to make them the same way. So I thought I'd show y'all how I do it. I literally just scramble it right in the pan, and then I just start folding in from like the edges towards the center and kind of just mixing it up in there, and they kind of end up like really nice and fluffy and like still moist, kind of like you see here. So they're pretty good. It's a good technique. And then I'm just sprinkling in just a little handful of cheddar cheese just to make it a little creamier, add a little some. And then just grabbing the little pieces of toast back out of the toaster. And this is actually veggie cream cheese that we actually got when we were in New Jersey from this like bagel shop that makes their own homemade cream cheese, and it is so delicious. So I'm just putting that on the side. So putting a little bit of that on each slice of toast, serving up the eggs. And that is kind of what it looks like. So like I said, I made one for each of us. So this is what we had, and this is kind of what my morning looked like. I was just set up with my iPad, my coffee, my breakfast, and just getting some stuff done. Now for lunch, again with my husband's delicious homemade bread, I'm starting off by toasting 4 slices of it. This is actually my husband's lunch. I'll show you mine. This is what he has literally every single day for lunch. It's kind of a weird recipe, but he absolutely loves it. So I start off by throwing some mayo on 2 slices of toast, and then we always have a bunch of hard-boiled eggs on hand, and I just slice up 1 egg per sandwich and layer that on. Like I said, this is probably a little bit of a weird thing, but he loves it. This is what he has literally every single day, and it's pretty good, and it has lots of protein and stuff, which is why he loves it. So I spread the eggs out all over the toast, and then I put a little slice of cheese on each one, add a big slice of tomato and a little bit of romaine lettuce. I don't even salt it or anything. He doesn't really like seasoning on his food, which is the weirdest thing. And then I just throw the top pieces of toast. How pretty is his toast, or his bread in general? I just think he makes the best bread. And this is what it looks like. He just loves it. And then I was just having some leftovers. I can actually link this recipe if y'all are interested. I made it the night before, but it was like a chicken Alfredo Southwest like pasta bake. It was like Alfredo sauce with taco seasoning, chicken, black beans, a bunch of really good stuff. And then since it was my day off, I had a little glass of Prosecco with my lunch because why not? And this is what it looked like. So it just had the veggies, some cheese on top of it. It was very, very delicious. I can definitely link it or even do a video if y'all would be interested. It was so good. It's a good way to just use stuff up. And that was my lunch. So moving on to dinner, I'm going to show y'all my Alfredo sauce recipe. You need butter, cream cheese, heavy whipping cream, Parmesan cheese, garlic salt, Italian seasoning, actual garlic, and whatever kind of long pasta that you like. And so I'm just getting some water on to boil for the pasta. This Alfredo sauce is like, I make this very, very often. This exact same recipe. It is my absolute favorite. I don't even eat it out of the jar anymore. I have to make it because this is just so delicious. So you start off by melting the butter and then throw in the entire pint of heavy whipping cream. This is by no means healthy, but it is so freaking good. And then the best part, what really makes it, is the cream cheese. So I add half a block of cream cheese in there and just kind of melt it down with the butter and cream mixture and like get it all kind of creamy and combined. And then once you have that, you're just gonna add in a bunch of garlic, some garlic powder, or you can do garlic salt if you want and then not have to add additional salt, the Italian seasoning, and then I also salt it here as well. The salt is important. You definitely need to add like some seasoning to it. I mean, it tastes delicious, but all the seasonings really like add another layer to it. And then of course I got my pasta cooking, and the very important part is adding a bunch of cheese. Of course you could use like fresh Parmesan cheese, but I just had the shaker on hand and it honestly tastes just as good to me. So that's the last step. You just kind of have to whip in the cheese. It adds a lot of flavor and makes it nice and thick and creamy. And then I also had some garlic bread going in the oven. And this is the final result. I used angel hair, by the way. I just threw a whole bunch of sauce on top. Oh, this is amazing. I hope y'all enjoyed, and thank you so much for watching. Bye.